Okay, so you all can hear me clearly, right?
Yes.
Okay. So previously, I had covered the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. That means, how can we understand Bhagavad Gita? In order to understand Bhagavad Gita, uh, what kind of a mood should we have, and so forth, so that we can receive Lord's kripa, mercy, nicely, and we can understand. And then a few important points, aspects that Bhagavad Gita talks about. Then finally, the Guru Parampara in which we have received Bhagavad Gita. And then the chapter 1. Chapter 1, we had covered till 20 shlokas, first 20 shlokas. Now we'll be continuing from 21st shloka. So until 20 shlokas, first 13 shlokas, basically it is a conversation. So this entire Bhagavad Gita, in fact, most of the Puranas and the Vedic scriptures, they're all in the format of conversation, uh, so that people can relate to it better. If it is simply some kind of a theory, then people may get bored. So this way, it is in a this Bhagavad Gita too, which is known as the Gita Upanishad, which is actually part of Mahabharata. That is why here Sanjaya is relating to Dhritarashtra, whatever is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, as you may all know. So, the first 13 shlokas, Sanjaya describes how Duryodhana, he sees the Pandava army, their military arrangement and everything, and he's talking to Dronacharya about it. And he's trying to instigate Dronacharya and Bhishma and all others and make them rise up in anger so they can deliver their best. And then so uh, Bhishma, in order to encourage Duryodhana, he'll start blowing his shankha. So shankha, when we blow shankha, it means it has a lot of significance, especially in this context of battlefield. It means yes, we are ready for war, and then followed by that, Pandavas and Lord Shri Krishna himself, they all blow their shankhas. But there was a lot of difference in the effect that how Pandavas, when they and Krishna blowed the shankhas, um, it is said that it shattered the hearts of sons of Dhritarashtra, because these were obviously all spiritual conscious, and they were all blown with such confidence that uh, so I didn't opt for that AI participation. I think someone asked for it uh, because I'm not used to it. So not maybe today, maybe another day. Okay, so now moving on to from 21st shloka to 27th shloka, mm, Krishna is glorified as Bhakta Vatsala, Shri Krishna, Lord Krishna, because he is now the chariot driver of Arjuna. Being the Supreme Lord himself, now he has become a chariot driver of Arjuna, and it's not a small thing, because um, have you ever seen a CEO or the Prime Minister become a driver of someone? No, that won't happen, right? So, but here, the Supreme Lord of the entire creation, he takes this very humble position of becoming the chariot driver. That shows, how kind he is towards his devotees. Why does he do that? He does it only because of his love for his devotee. And actually, we should understand that it was not even uh, as dignified as a car driver. Being a chariot driver, sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times, because um, in the battlefield, if the owner of the chariot, for example, Arjuna, if he has to communicate with his charioteer, that is Krishna, he can't be talking to him, or he can't be, verbally communicating with him, because one, it can it can take time, and two, he may not even hear, and everything, the decisions have to be made so swiftly, because there may be arrows coming your way, and if you don't take notice, and suddenly the charioteer has to very swiftly swerve it this way or that way, and this way there will be a lot of communication between the one who is driving the chariot and one who is sitting at the back. So Arjuna, like anyone else, had to communicate, right? How would he do that? By using his foot. It is said that back in the day, so that's how a charioteer, he actually, mm, he is kicked by the owner sitting at the back, just to, if he, if he taps him with his foot on the left side, that means he has to turn left. If he taps him with his foot on the right side, that means he has to turn right. So such was the condition, and Lord Sri Krishna agreed to do this seva, and that is his greatness. So that is why he's known as Bhakta Vatsala, and that is uh, glorified here, because in then so now what happens is, um, Arjuna is asking Krishna, can you please draw my chariot now in between the two armies? Because I want to see now who are present, on the other side, who have come here desiring to fight with us. Because on the other side, there were all sorts of people, not just Kauravas who were their direct cousins. There were uh, some of the allies of Pandavas also, some of them had ended up on the other side, willingly or unwillingly, and there's so many of their teachers, their friends, their well-wishers, their enemies. So many people were there. So he wished to see who all were there, and so Krishna eventually he takes a chariot in the middle of both parties, and so now the Lord asks Arjuna, now, why don't you see who all are there? And as soon as Arjuna starts seeing, now he's able to see that, not just his cousins, there are his maternal uncles, teachers, grandfathers, fathers, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, also fathers in law and well wishers on both sides. So, one thing is that, okay, on the Kaurava side, we may feel, okay, they're on the enemy side, but everybody knew there were going to be lot of deaths, right? That is common in a given war. So many people would die, and and it's a great loss, because they're all relatives for both sides, and so many common friends and whatnot. And now Arjuna also saw. So there were so different grades of friends and relatives, and therefore, now what happened? He became very, very overwhelmed with compassion. Now he could not take it, and then he started speaking to Krishna, and he says, "Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushyti." Oh Krishna, by seeing all these friends and relatives, my limbs are quivering. I mean, my mouth is drying up. So uh, he's not able to, keep his balance anymore. And now this was not expected. Now here is a Kshatriya, and he's one of the most powerful warriors of that day, and nobody had expected this will be his reaction. So he goes forward and he says, my whole body is trembling, my hairs are standing. What to speak of all this? Even my Gandiva, so his famous bow, which was famous because any arrow shot from his bow, by Arjuna, it never goes in vain. That means he was always victorious. And now such Gandiva bow is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. So that's why he's saying, my mind is reeling. I cannot take this anymore. I only see that all the different signs of misfortune. He's saying, Nimittani cha pashyani viparitani Keshava. He's calling Krishna as Keshava. Why? Krishna has so many names. And these are all ways to uh, convey different meanings in this context. It is so deep that even just by calling Krishna a certain name, he's conveying some message here. Why? Because he's saying, "Oh Krishna, you are famous as Keshava, that is the killer of Keshi demon. You have killed many. You have killed many demons. You have killed many enemies, but you have never killed your own relatives. Then why are you asking me to kill my relatives?" So that is why he is using the name Keshava. And that too, I'm seeing all bad signs, mm, um, all signs of misfortune. And so, why, whether we win or not, it's all going to be so unfortunate. Why? Because so many people are going to die, and they're all our own people. And so he also sees, see, even if we were to win, what good will it be? Because if we end up killing our own people, then how can we even celebrate this happiness? So this is a typical material calculation, right? Um, let's say we earn a lot of money or something, then we want to celebrate or enjoy with our friends or relatives. If there is no one to enjoy with, then will we be happy? So similarly, Krishna, Arjuna is questioning now, if we kill our own kinsmen, our own relatives, even after winning this huge kingdom, what can we enjoy? Hmm. There is no point of winning this kingdom. Kimno rajyena govinda kim bhoga jivitena va. So this is a very famous shloka. He says, "Oh Govinda, what happiness can we derive from this?" Again, he's calling Krishna as Govinda. So why Govinda? Because Go means either cow, it can mean cow, or it can also mean senses. So he who gives uh, pleasure or happiness to the senses is called Govinda. Now, is the one who gives happiness to our senses. Then why are you asking me to fight in this war, which will never satisfy my senses? So I'll be so unhappy, right? So see, the point is, we are supposed to do our duties in order to please the Lord, not that whether it is pleasing to my senses or not. That should not be our calculation. So bhakti means to see whether uh, samsiddhir haritoshanam, every all our activities, whether it is on an individual level or on a level of a society. Back in the day, everything was organized in such a way that will it will make the Supreme Lord happy. by following his instructions. So therefore, why should we even fight? Huh? We, we desire happiness for all these our own people, and if we go kill them, uh, what is the point? Not just that. Um, Even if we win this kingdom, it will all be tainted with the sin of killing these people and all that, you know, literally, the taint of blood will haunt us. Hmm? Therefore, I'm not prepared to fight, even for the exchange of not just this one kingdom or this whole world, even for the three worlds. Even if you were to give me three worlds, I don't want to fight, let alone this earth. Uh, because what? There's no pleasure in killing sons of Dhritarashtra. They are our own people. So here, Arjuna is going on to give so many reasons. He actually gives 4 5 reasons why he doesn't want to kill. And all that, Krishna will counteract all his arguments, and he will defeat his arguments with proper logic. Hmm. So now he says, one, we cannot enjoy, right? There's no enjoyment. And then um, we will be overcome by sin. Now he's saying, Papamevashrayedasman hatvaitan atatainaha. So we will get sin if we overcome such aggressors. So we should not kill them. And again, now he's saying, Swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinah syama madhava. Again, he's calling Krishna as Madhava. Why? Because Madhava means, oh, you who are the husband of goddess of fortune. You being the goddess of fortune, why are you engaging me in this uh, warfare, which will bring about misfortune? So now there are in Vedic scriptures 6 kinds of aggressors are recognized. So if we were to kill those 6 kinds of aggressors, we will not get any sin or papa. So what are those aggressors? One who gives poison, one who sets our house on fire, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who steals our riches or wealth, right? And one who occupies someone else's land. And lastly, if someone kidnaps our wife, a man's wife, he could kill him. Then that is not considered sin. So here, that is why he's saying, okay, we will get sin. But Arjuna was not an ordinary person. Even though, because this killing of aggressors, it may be good for ordinary men, but because Arjuna was ultimately he was a pure devotee of the Lord. So it is not that he was cowardly or anything, but because of his being so kind and soft-hearted, he's giving all these reasoning. In fact, these um, Kauravas, they had done so many of these aggressions. First of all, it was their land, which the Pandavas they had every right to rule that kingdom. So they were not ready to give them any piece of land. Then they had even given poison to Bhima, and at various times they had tried to kill them, and they had insulted their wife in not one way or two ways. How many ways they had been very bad aggressors. So in every which way, this was a dharma yuddha. It was justified, but still, because Arjuna was so kind-hearted, He says all this, and he shows his sense of detachment that, even I don't even want any kingdom. I would rather go beg and live. So, in that sense, he's very. It is only because of his compassionate behavior he's saying all this. Then, so what are the other reasons he gives for not fighting? Hmm. So one is enjoyment, uh, then out of compassion, then sin by killing these people, uh, and then now he's saying, uh, see, these people, Kauravas and their supporters, they are definitely very greedy, and they may not see any fault in killing their own family. We are all their family also, or there are many friends and family who they are ready to kill. But why should we do that? Why should we also act like them? And isn't it so wrong to destroy their family? Huh? And next, he also goes to say, it is not just for our own family's sake, oh Krishna. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha. So, by destroying families, see now on the Kurukshetra war, it is said that there were kings and soldiers not just from India or neighboring countries, from all over the world. The entire world was being ruled uh, by one Chakravarti from Bharatavarsha, India, that is from Hastinapur. So India was the center of power and center of knowledge back in the day. And all other kings around the world, they were all subordinate rulers, but they were not independent. So, therefore, when such a world war of this magnitude happened, all the kings were involved in this. So, either they would side with Kauravas or the Pandavas. Therefore, uh, how many families would be destroyed throughout the world? It's not just in one kingdom or another. And by so he's saying, when the elders of the family are killed, what will happen? Then, first of all, when a family has no patriarch or a male leader to lead the family, then the women and children will be uh, in danger, right? That is one thing. And also, when all the elders of the family uh, are gone, then who will teach the younger generation all the traditional rituals and values and everything? The whole this Sanatana Dharma will be forgotten. It will be vanquished. Actually, in a way, it did happen. Uh, it has been even the historians have seen this. Mm, because there was Vedic culture was prevalent throughout the world, but because now everything, the whole connection was lost. So after Mahabharata war, of course, Yudhishthira was brought back to power, and then his sovereignty was there throughout the world. And then it continued, Maharaja Parikshita, and then maybe Janmejaya until up to him. After that, uh, the whole world disintegrated. So that central power and central sovereignty was no more, held throughout the world. So they were all, disintegrated into independent kingdoms and all that. That way, even though Sanatana Dharma was prevalent all over the world before, later on, it was forgotten, and different regions developed their own different regional civilizations or regional culture or religion, whatever. But even to this day, there have been so many archaeological findings and remains of so many Vedic deities have been found in different parts of the world, and so that all stands testimony to it. So what Arjuna is saying is all valid points in one sense, but how we will see in the second chapter, these are all seemingly valid, from a social point of view or whatever. But over and above all this, comes the point of dharma, or bhakti. Whatever the Supreme Lord says, ultimately, if we do not follow that, then what is the point? Everything is uh, waste. Everything is gone to waste. So, anyway, Krishna will prove why his points are not valid later. Um, Therefore, so the eternal family traditions, he's saying, will also be vanquished. Hmm? And thus, when there is a religious environment everywhere, what happens? Women of the family become polluted. And when that happens, um, there'll be degradation of um children also. There'll be unwanted progeny. So this is also very important. And we have seen all this happen, and it is continuing in Kali Yuga. So अधर्मात् विभवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टाशु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्णसंकरः. Varnasankara. Sankara means unwanted progeny, means those children who are not born in a religious way. When children are born in a religious way or a sinful way, and when they are born to when they are born to you know someone, when they're born to a partner outside the marriage, so it leads to a lot of problems. It creates unwanted progeny. So Srila Prabhupada would often term this Varna Sankara means, like the hippie population or the useless population. They are neither good materially nor spiritually. So earlier, everything, the whole Varnashrama Dharma system was followed so nicely, and scriptures were followed so nicely that children who were born were also of good caliber. So, therefore, they would also be very loyal to their parents or to their elders and to their tradition, and they would also continue their family and their religious traditions and so on, and the generation would continue like that. But if we get unwanted progeny in the society, because of all these irreligious practices, entire society will become uh, uh, adharmic, irreligious, and therefore it will become hellish. That's what Arjuna is already predicting. And so he says if there is an increase of such unwanted population, it creates hellish life, not just for the family, but even for those who destroy the family, for because the whole world will become hellish. And because of this, patanti pitaro hesham lupta pindodaka kriyaha. So nowadays, hardly how many families will even in India, what to speak of the Western world, uh, offering Shraddha to our ancestors was very vital, and it should be done. But because of all these, destruction of family traditions, it is all lost. And so it is very unfortunate. And therefore, when people stop offering shraddha to their ancestors, what hope the ancestors may have? They may be transferred to hell. So therefore, in Kali Yuga, nothing else works ultimately. So, Harer Nama, Iva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti Eva Gatiramyatha. Therefore, we have to, as far as possible, take to this Harinama Sankirtana. Then we will be saved of all this calamities of Kali Yuga. So, overall, the whole organization of the society and the society, the welfare activities for the family and everything will be destroyed, is what Arjuna is saying. Then, so here also Arjuna is saying, Narake niyatam vaso bhavati anushruma. He's saying, I've heard through parampara, through disciplic succession. So he's also admitting that, whatever I'm saying, whatever I'm quoting is not my own. I have heard through my gurus and through the parampara. So that was the way everyone followed parampara system, and it could be family parampara or it could be parampara through guru and shishya. Uh, so ultimately, everyone would be connected to Vedic culture and in service to the Supreme Lord. So he's saying, I've heard through this parampara that those whose family traditions are destroyed, uh, they will always dwell in hell. Narake niyatam vaso. They're always permanently they'll be in hell, because now who's there to offer them shraddha and who's there to elevate them? So that is why in our Vedic culture we have the term called putra. Pum iti narakat trayate iti putra. So one, just because we get a son, he cannot be called putra. Putra is one who is religious, dharmic, and he is able to deliver the parents or the ancestors from this hell called Pu. So every word in the Shastra had so much of meaning. So therefore, everyone had their specific duties according to Shastra, and everyone would follow their specific duties, and then therefore the whole society would be, uh, whole society would be peaceful. So there was no unnecessary competition for jobs or anything for that matter. Everyone was peaceful because uh, nobody was encroaching on others' property or others' jobs or whatever. So that is how all these, when traditional practices were destroyed, when each family had their own family traditional occupation. So whatever the father would do, the son would continue, and his son would continue. Then there was no question of unemployment, and therefore, whether it was for economic engagement or for spiritual engagement, it was all coming through the parampara, and everyone was following and lived peacefully. So all this will be destroyed, is what Arjuna is saying. And he's saying, alas, how strange it is that we are prepared to commit such great sinful acts, because of our own greed for enjoyment. We are intent on killing our own men. Yad rajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanamodhyataha. Just for enjoying this kingdom, how can we kill our own men? So all these seem really good. In one sense, they are good. As a saintly person, what he's saying is good. But still, uh, it lacks the Krishna conscious angle, or the angle of moksha dharma. So just on a pious level, on a religious level, maybe it was good. But when it comes to, so there are different hierarchies. One is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So when we see things from the perspective of moksha, then that is the highest. So everything else should not be regarded. It should be ignored. We should take the mm, highest, reason from the point of moksha. And that's what Krishna does. He explains everything from the point of moksha and beyond. So he's saying, even if the sons of Dhritarashtra, even if they were to kill me, it's better for me to be killed without even I won't even resist them. Let them kill me unarmed and unresisting on this battlefield. But he is a Kshatriya. So, the duty of a Kshatriya is to fight. At no circumstance, Kshatriya should stop fighting unless the battle has stopped. He cannot afford to give up fighting and run away, or this is all not for Kshatriya. For a Brahmana, yeah, yes. For a Brahmana is not recommended to fight because Brahmana is peaceful. Satya Shama Dama Titiksha Arjava Gnanam Vignanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Svabhavayam. So he is only into doing his dhyana, his uh, religious duties, and he is very peaceful. He doesn't fight with anyone. He never lies, and he can take charity. That's fine. Uh, Yajan Yajan Patan Patan Dana Pratigraha. He can give dana also, he can take dana also. So this is all good for Brahmana. But what Arjuna is saying here is not at all good for Kshatriya. A Kshatriya cannot take dana like that. He can only give dana. He can give in charity to Brahmanas and other people who are worthy. Nor can he say, "Oh, I want to be peaceful. I don't want, this war." No, no, that is not for a Kshatriya because Kshatriya has to protect others from uh, being hurt. That is the meaning of the word Kshat. Tra. Kshat means to get hurt. Trayate means one who will protect us from, protect the citizens from getting hurt. So that is how a Kshatriya should behave. Therefore, from that perspective, uh, Arjuna's arguments were not valid. So finally, Arjuna, after speaking all this, he'll keep aside his bow and arrows and he'll just sit down on his chariot. And his mind is so much now overwhelmed with grief. Visrujya sacharam chapam shoka samvigna manasaha. So his mind is filled with distress and lamentation. He's lamenting, oh. So, yeah, for a Kshatriya, this is not good. But again, Arjuna is also a pure Vaishnava. Therefore, it is only because of his soft heartedness, his kindness, uh, he is showing these signs. These are all signs of compassion. Actually, our acharyas, like Baladev Vidyabhushan and others, they explain that, this symptom of soft heartedness and kindness for all living entities, this is a very, very, it is a welcome attribute for someone who wants moksha. So nobody can claim that, oh, I will, I'll try for moksha or I'll do my sadhana very nicely, but at the same time, I can be hard-hearted. No, they don't go well hand in hand. So, therefore, Arjuna is very soft-hearted, even though he's a Kshatriya. Um, and because he is so soft-hearted, he is the right candidate who is eligible to receive Atmagnana, or the knowledge of the Supreme Lord, and the knowledge of the soul. And therefore, Krishna speaks to him this science of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, our Acharya says, such a kind and soft hearted person in devotional service of the Lord is really, he is fit to receive this knowledge of the Supreme Lord and knowledge of the self. Therefore, whoever, that's why you have to be careful in not harming any of the living entities, or not hurting anyone or being envious of anyone, because that will not make us fit at all to receive this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so here this ends the chapter 1. So if you all have any questions or doubts, please let me know. I will end the recording here, but we can